I was talking to a good friend of mine the other day, a wonderful woman named Margaret. She was telling me how she's been trying so hard to eat right, to make good choices for her health. I have a banana every single morning with my tea, she said. I feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. But then she paused and her face fell a little. But lately, I just feel so bloated. And my energy seems to crash by mid-morning. I just don't understand it. Does that sound familiar? That feeling that you're following the rules, eating the healthy foods you've always been told were good for you, but somehow, your body just isn't cooperating like it used to? If you've ever felt that way, please know that you are not alone, and it is absolutely not your fault. You see, our bodies change as we journey through our 60s, 70s, and beyond. What worked for us at 40 might not be the best choice for us at 65. And that humble, trusty banana, a symbol of health and simplicity, is a perfect example of this. It's not that the banana itself is bad. Far from it. It's packed with good things like potassium and fiber. But the way we choose, store, and eat it can make all the difference between it being a healthy snack and something that causes us some real discomfort or even harms our health in subtle ways. It's like that banana can turn from a friend into a bit of a foe without us even realizing it. That's what we're going to gently explore together today. We're going to walk through 5 common mistakes many of us make with bananas, and more importantly, what we can do instead to make sure we're getting all the goodness without any of the problems. So, let's start with the very first mistake, one that my friend Margaret was making without even knowing it. It all comes down to ripeness. Now, I want you to picture 2 bananas. One is that beautiful, sunny yellow, maybe with just a hint of green at the tips. It looks perfect, doesn't it? The other one is covered in those dark brown spots, what we often call a speckled banana. Most of us were taught that the perfectly yellow one is the one to eat, and the speckled one is on its way to being overripe. But when it comes to our digestion, especially after 60, that thinking is exactly backwards. You see, a yellow, slightly green banana is what we call an unripe banana. And unripe bananas are very high in something called resistant starch. Now, that might sound like a good thing, and in some contexts, it can be, but resistant starch is, as the name implies, resistant to our digestion. For a younger digestive system, that might not be a big issue, but for ours, which can be a little more sensitive and slower, that resistant starch can be very tough to break down. It travels through our gut largely intact, and when it reaches the large intestine, the bacteria there have a feast on it. And while that's happening, they produce gas, which leads to that bloated, uncomfortable feeling, and can even cause cramping for some of us. Now, let's look at that speckled banana, the one we might have passed over. Those brown spots are a sign that the resistant starch has naturally converted into simple sugars. The banana has become softer, sweeter, and most importantly, much, much easier for our bodies to digest. So, if you've ever felt gassy or bloated after eating a banana, it's very likely you were eating it too early. The simple fix? Let it get spotty. Wait until those brown freckles appear. I know it goes against a lifetime of habit, but trust me, your stomach will thank you for it. Now, this leads us beautifully into our second common mistake, which is eating a banana all by itself. This was the other part of Margaret's morning routine. She'd have her tea and her banana, and that was it. It's quick, it's easy, and we think we're getting a boost of energy. And we are, but it's a very short-lived boost. Think of that ripe, sweet banana as a little rocket fuel. It shoots into your system, your blood sugar rises quickly to give you that energy, but just as quickly, it crashes back down. That's what was causing Margaret's mid-morning slump. When we eat a banana alone, especially a ripe one, it's mostly carbohydrate. Without any protein or healthy fat to slow down the absorption of those sugars, we get a spike and then a drop. This isn't good for our energy levels, and over time, it's not ideal for our blood sugar balance either. So, what can we do? We turn that solo act into a delightful duet. It's about companionship for your banana. Instead of just eating the banana, try having a small handful of almonds or a few walnut halves with it. Or, you could spread a little tablespoon of peanut butter or almond butter on each bite. If you're having it with yogurt, that's a great start, but make sure it's a protein-rich Greek yogurt. You could even crumble a little bit of cheese on the side. That little bit of protein and fat acts as a buffer. It slows everything down, helping to release that natural sugar from the banana into your bloodstream at a slow, steady pace. This provides you with sustained energy, keeps you feeling full and satisfied for longer, and avoids that dreaded energy crash. It's a tiny change, but it makes a world of difference to how you feel for the next few hours. And that's a wonderful place to pause for just a moment. We've already covered two of the most common, yet easily fixable, mistakes: eating bananas that are too green and eating them all by themselves. These small adjustments can truly transform your relationship with this simple fruit. But there are a few more things we need to consider, because it's not just about when we eat the banana, but also what we might be drinking with it, and how we can make it an even more powerful ally for our health, especially when it comes to something so many of us struggle with as we get a little older. So, let's move on and take a closer look at that. Now, where were we? Yes. We were talking about turning that banana from a solo act into a lovely duet by pairing it with some protein or a healthy fat. It's a simple shift, but it truly changes everything about how that energy is released in your body. It's like moving from a sudden, gusty wind to a gentle, steady breeze that can fill your sails for hours. And that idea of gentle, steady support is a perfect lead into our next point, because it's not just about what you eat with your banana, but also about what you might be drinking. This brings us to the third common mistake, and it's one I see so many people make without a second thought. It's washing your banana down with a large glass of water, or worse, a big cup of tea or coffee, all in one go, right as you're eating. Now, I can already hear what you might be thinking. But I've always been told to drink plenty of water. And what's wrong with my morning tea? You are absolutely right to think that. Staying hydrated is one of the most important things we can do for our health, especially as we get older. The issue isn't the water or the tea itself, it's the timing and the quantity in relation to your food. Think of your stomach as a little kitchen, and the digestive juices in there are the hard-working chefs. Their job is to break down the food you eat so your body can absorb all the wonderful nutrients. When you sit down to eat a banana, those chefs get to work, releasing just the right amount of digestive juices to handle the task. But if you flood that kitchen with a large amount of liquid all at once, you're essentially diluting those hard-working chefs. You're watering down the very acids and enzymes that are trying to do their job. This can make the whole digestive process less efficient. For some of us, this can lead to that food sitting in the stomach longer than it should, which can cause indigestion, that heavy feeling, or even contribute to acid reflux. So, what's the better way? It's all about sipping, not gulping. Try to drink the majority of your water or other fluids between your meals, about 30 minutes before or after you eat. If you need a little something to help your banana go down during the meal, that's perfectly fine. Just make it a small, mindful sip. A small amount of liquid can actually help the food move along, but a large volume can hinder the process. It's a subtle distinction, but for a digestive system that might be a little more sensitive than it was in our younger years, it can make a world of difference in how comfortable you feel after you eat. Now, this next point, our fourth common mistake, is a particularly important one, and it touches on something that so many of us quietly struggle with as we get older. It's the mistake of thinking that a banana is the best, or even the only, choice when we're feeling a bit, well, stuck. You know what I mean. That sluggish feeling, that frustration when things just aren't moving as smoothly as they used to. We often reach for a banana because we've heard all our lives that they're good for fiber. And they are. But here's the catch, and it goes right back to our very first point about ripeness. An unripe, green banana is high in that resistant starch, which, as we discussed, can cause gas and bloating. But it can also have a binding effect for some people. It's a bit of a paradox. On the other hand, a beautifully ripe, spotty banana is much easier to digest, but its fiber content is a specific type called pectin. Pectin is a wonderful soluble fiber, which means it dissolves in water and can actually help to regulate the bowels. It can help if things are a little too loose, but it can also help if things are a little too slow. However, for some of us, when constipation is a real issue, relying on a banana alone might not be the powerful push we need. The real magic happens when we make the banana part of a bigger plan. Think of it as recruiting a team of helpers. If you're having a banana to help with regularity, that's a great idea. But let's make it even more effective. The key is to combine that ripe banana's pectin with another type of fiber called insoluble fiber. This is the kind that doesn't dissolve. It acts like a soft broom, sweeping through your system and adding bulk. So, how do we do that? It's easier than you think. You could sprinkle a tablespoon of ground flaxseed or chia seeds over your banana. You could have a handful of high-fiber berries with it. You could enjoy it with a bowl of oatmeal, which is a fantastic source of soluble fiber itself. And of course, we must never forget the importance of that hydration we just talked about. All the fiber in the world won't help if it doesn't have enough fluid to absorb and swell. So, a ripe banana, plus an extra source of fiber like seeds or whole grains, plus plenty of water throughout the day, now that is a powerful, gentle, and natural combination that can really help get things moving comfortably again. It's about thinking of the banana not as the lone hero, but as a valuable member of a much larger, supportive team. And that idea of the banana being part of a team, rather than working alone, is a theme that seems to keep coming up, doesn't it? It's a gentle reminder that in our health, as in life, connection and combination often lead to the best results. But there's one final, and perhaps the most surprising, mistake we need to talk about. It's not about the banana itself, or what we eat or drink with it, but about what we believe it can do for us in isolation. This last point really challenges a long-held belief and shows us how to unlock even more potential from this simple, wonderful fruit. That idea of the banana being part of a team, rather than working alone, is so important, isn't it? It seems that the secret to so much of our well-being lies not in finding one single magic bullet, but in understanding how things work together in harmony. And that brings us to our fifth and final common mistake, one that is perhaps the most deeply ingrained of all. It's the belief that a banana is just a simple snack, a quick bit of energy, and that its job is done once we've eaten it. We don't often think of it as a key player in one of the most critical aspects of our health after 60, preserving our strength. You see, as we journey through our 60s, 70s, and beyond, our bodies naturally begin to lose muscle mass. It's a process called sarcopenia, and it's one of the primary reasons we might start to feel a bit weaker or find that our balance isn't quite what it used to be. Now, you might be wondering, what does this have to do with a banana? Well, it has everything to do with what we do after we eat it. A ripe banana, especially when paired with a little protein as we discussed earlier, provides a wonderful source of energy. But energy for what? If we eat that banana and then sit down for the rest of the day, that energy, in the form of carbohydrates and sugar, has to go somewhere. Without being used, it can be stored as fat, or it can lead to those blood sugar spikes we talked about. But if we time it right, that banana can become the perfect fuel for something truly transformative, a little bit of gentle movement. This is the mistake, eating a banana as a passive snack. The opportunity is to use it as active fuel. Think of that banana as the perfect prelude to a short walk, some light gardening, or a few simple strength exercises. Your muscles are like engines, and they need fuel to work. By having a banana about 30 minutes to an hour before you plan to be active, you are providing your muscles with the readily available energy they need to perform. This does two wonderful things. First, it helps ensure that the energy from the banana is used by your muscles, rather than being stored or spiking your blood sugar. And second, by fueling your activity, you are directly fighting that muscle loss. You are telling your body, we are still using these muscles, we need to keep them strong. It turns this simple fruit from just a food into a powerful tool for maintaining your independence, your strength, and your balance. It's no longer just a banana, it's a partner in your vitality. So, instead of having your banana while watching the morning news, why not have it, and then put on your walking shoes and enjoy a stroll around the block? Or, before you do your daily routine of leg lifts or arm raises with light weights, have a few bites. You'll be amazed at how much more energy you have for the activity, and you'll be nourishing your body in a much deeper, more meaningful way. So, there we have them. 5 common mistakes that can turn this healthy fruit into a source of discomfort, and more importantly, 5 simple, gentle shifts we can make to turn it back into the wonderful ally it was always meant to be. Let's just take a quiet moment to bring it all together. It's about choosing a spotty, ripe banana over a green one to be kind to your digestion. It's about never letting that banana feel lonely on your plate, but instead, giving it a companion like a few nuts or a spoonful of yogurt to steady your energy. It's about being mindful of how you drink your fluids, sipping between meals rather than flooding your system while you eat. It's about seeing that banana as part of a team, especially when it comes to staying regular, by adding some seeds or whole grains for an extra boost. And finally, it's about seeing that banana not as the end of the story, but as the beginning, as the perfect fuel for the gentle movement that keeps you strong and steady on your feet. These aren't drastic changes. They are gentle nudges, small adjustments to habits we've held for a lifetime. And that's the beautiful thing. Our health isn't about grand, overwhelming gestures. It's built in these small, consistent, loving choices we make for ourselves each day. You have the power to make this simple, wonderful fruit work in perfect harmony with your body. I would love to hear from you. Have you tried letting your bananas get spotty? Did you notice a difference in how you felt? Or perhaps you have another little tip of your own for enjoying bananas? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your wisdom might be exactly what another viewer needs to hear. If you found this helpful, giving the video a like always helps us reach more wonderful people like you. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel for more simple, practical conversations about thriving in these best years of our lives. Thank you for spending this time with me. Remember, it's never too late to make a small change that makes a big difference. Here's to your health, your vitality, and to enjoying every single bite of the journey.